Hey, good evening. I'm Meteorologist Pete Mangione. Another Sunday, another snowstorm. This is actually the fourth Sunday in a row where we're going to see measurable snow at TF Green Airport, becoming kind of a pain in the neck here to end the weekends lately, but that's what we have, so let's get right to it. Here is a look at the latest watches and warnings. A winter storm warning continues for Providence and areas down to the south. This is the region which we're going to see the heaviest snow. Winter weather advisory to the north and west of Providence. And as we go into our radar, you can see it's starting to fill in here. Some darker strips indicating where we have seen some heavier snow. I just actually checked the camera in Narragansett, which I'm going to show you in just a second. It looked like the snow coming down at a pretty decent clip there. And here is that camera shot. Now, sometimes this camera could be a little tricky. It gets a little fogged up, but it does appear some bigger snowflakes are falling in Narragansett. Moving on here to the hurricane barrier, also snowing in the capital city. It has been for a couple of hours now, not too much in the way of accumulation as of around 4 p.m. And then how about this? This is the URI time lapse. This is actually a great tool to observe current accumulations, and if I were to estimate this, I'd say maybe a half an inch on the ground. As you notice at the end of this loop, we'll do it one more time. Notice how we start off with pretty much a bare sidewalk, and then it fills in there. Even the footprints start to go away, showing signs of that snow coming down at the URI campus. Here are current temperatures, and actually temperatures will play a huge role in this weather forecast. That's because as we go into the next several hours into this evening, that freezing line will approach the south coast. Now, it may not quite make it there, but I would not be surprised for a period if places like Newport, Jamestown, even Westerly flip just to around freezing or maybe above freezing, so it's possible you get a little mixing to rain. Even if we don't get the rain, you may just get some of that wetter snow which has trouble sticking. That's why at the immediate south coast, the accumulations are slightly lower, and we'll put that up in just a second. Notice as we look at the satellite picture, the darker shades of blue kind of moving across places like Long Island there and into southern Connecticut, and it's that little piece of energy which is moving through right now, delivering that first shot of snow. So that continues through 8 p.m. A few heavy bands of snow are possible. Roads will not be impassable, but definitely allow plenty of extra time to get to your destination. From around 8 o'clock to 2 in the morning, this is when the heaviest of the snow will be falling. And it doesn't mean it's coming down, 1, 2, 3 inches an hour the whole time, but there may be some heavy bands in there which reduce visibility if you happen to be outside on the roads, but hopefully you will be in safely for the night. 2 in the morning to 6 in the morning, some lingering light snow, but I really think by 2 or 3 in the morning, the bulk of the accumulation from the storm is already on the ground, and then from 6 a.m. to noontime, the snow is done. So this storm will be a very fast mover. And notice our snow accumulation timeline showing that we have around 1 to 3 inches already on the ground by 8 p.m., 2 to 4 by 11 p.m., and then by 2 in the morning, 3 to 5, between, say, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we get up to 4 to 6. Actually, if I were to change this, I might put that 4 to 6 even by 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But you get the idea. The bulk of the storm is over with before the Monday morning commute even really gets going. So we do have that going for us, in that most of you driving to work on Monday will not be driving during any heavy snowfall. Yes, there will be snow-covered roads, some slick roads for sure, but at least you don't have to deal with poor visibilities. Now, as we look at our grand total accumulations on the ground by about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, notice 4 to 6 inches for most of us. There will be a thin strip somewhere, and this is the really tricky part of the forecast, but somewhere I do expect to see a higher accumulation strip, about 6 to 8 inches. Right now I have that just south of Providence into places like Warwick, North Kingstown, and out into West Greenwich, and on into portions of the East Bay. Bristol, I have you right on the borderline of that 4 to 6 and 6 to 8 inch line. So you can see that it's a tough forecast because that will be the zone where you get the combination of the heaviest of the moisture and temperatures that are just cold enough. Now notice at the southern tip of the south coast, like Newport, especially down towards the water, I have the amounts a little bit lower, 4 to 6. That's because of that potential of mixing or maybe some wetter snowflakes, which will allow the snow to not stick quite as much. So that's why I have that extreme south coast 4 to 6 inch swath there. But this is going to be a tricky forecast. I wouldn't be surprised if, in southern parts of Westerly, we get 4 to 6, and you get a few miles away and you get closer to 8 inches. You get a few miles just to the north. That's the kind of storm it's going to be. So we'll keep you updated. Again, winter storm warning continues through 7 o'clock tomorrow morning from Providence down to the south coast, and then a winter weather advisory for northwest Rhode Island. I will be on the air at 6:30 this evening, and then we'll be on live at 10 p.m. on Fox Providence, and then again at 11 p.m. on WPRI. And of course, you can always visit us at WPRI.com for the latest blog updates and weather discussion updates. We'll see you soon.